In this edition, President hints of comprehensive policy to deal with nomadic herdsmen menace, and also unit committee members criticize chief over school land sale. Now let's look at the stories in detail. Now, President YAQUB says comprehensive policy is required to address the nomadic herdsmen and their cattle menace at Agogo and other parts of the country. He reaffirms plans to set up kraals to confine cattle to curb the destruction they visit on farms and other property. At his one-year media encounter in Accra, the president said, however, measures should be taken in order not to open the floodgates for cattle across West Africa to move into Ghana.
The pure law and order measures that need to be taken to prevent violence, to make sure that the herdsmen behave. The pure law and order measures that need to be taken to prevent violence, to make sure that the herdsmen behave within the context of the law in Ghana. We cannot overlook that, and that will have to continue until we get from them consistently behavior that it goes along with respecting the laws of order. The pure law and order measures that need to be taken to prevent violence, to make sure that the herdsmen behave within the context of the law in Ghana. We cannot overlook that, and that will have to continue until we get from them consistently behavior that it goes along with respecting the laws of the country. But there are matters which we all need to look at. I mean, if you have a very effective system of ranching across the country, are you thereby also inviting all the cattle of West Africa to head towards Ghana? Because you have a system that perhaps, I mean, these are, and it's part of the thinking that is going on to be able for us to find a solution. So, yes, I agreed. It is time for us to be able to unveil a comprehensive resolution of this matter and not to continue just to depend the law enforcement aspect, but to deal with a more holistic manner with the issue of these cattle that are ranging across various parts of our country.
The president also indicated efforts to restore law and order will continue to ensure nomadic herdsmen do not engage in excesses. Now, controversies raging between a chief and unit committee members over reallocation of public school land at Boankra in Ejuso Dwabin district of the Ashanti region. Nana Nyama Bebio is accused of selling the land to Chinese company, compelling the local municipal assembly junior high school to relocate. At the press conference, committee member Afrani Okisi said the school land has been sold in base to different companies. He wants attempt to sell the last portion will be resisted. Meanwhile, Nana Bebio wants to a face-to-face meeting with his accusers before responding to the allegations. That's it for the news at 4.
You may want to have a bite of our conversation for today on Drive Talk here on Drive Time Alone before you take leave of us, SAEED. In recent years, my husband has developed a habit of speaking awful and hurtful words to me whenever we disagree. He calls me unprintable names or puts across demeaning statements. He becomes defensive even when he's wrong and never apologizes for anything. After our fight, he expects us to carry on as if nothing happened. Is there something wrong with him, or I'm rather expecting too much from him? Please advise me on how I can handle him, as I always feel he takes me for granted and does not care anymore.
Well, if the husband doesn't have psychological problems, I think they should start preparing for divorce, because the relationship is over, effectively.
Wow.
The only intervention is psychological, examination of the husband's attitude. Otherwise, they are done.
Kofi?
Yeah. Well, I think, nothing will just happen just like that. The man's reaction to how she's reporting now probably will then be from her own, actions and inaction. That is why probably the man is acting like
Oh,
that.
you feel the woman is not doing something right?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, as the local parlance will say, so go to check up. So probably as you know your husband and then he has changed and then now you are complaining, take stock of your life and then check if everything is also okay.
In the same vein, I hear Asante say, Odosa.
But this is not that.
Because a woman who is doing something wrong that she's not aware of will not put this complaint out.
Okay.
Yes,
but
because she knows what she's doing. Yeah, but once she's putting this out, then it means there is something basically wrong with the man.
Okay,
yes.
But then she should also probably let us also know her doings and then her don'ts that is also making the husband act like this. Because when they started and then everything was just cool, we didn't hear this complaint. So what has changed?
Yes, the change is that it's getting over the hill.
So even if nothing changes, change will change.
You can join in the conversation on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, Valove 99.5 FM. On Twitter, it's at Love FM 99.5. Or at DJ Ruben 995. Same on Instagram and on Snapchat. You follow, I follow back. You tweet as usual, I tweet back at you. Let's all help advise our sister here who writes to us today on Drive Talk, on Drive Time here on Love 99.5. If you just tuned in, let me quickly fill you in with today's conversation on Drive Talk. And I read, in recent years, my husband has developed a habit of speaking awful and hurtful words to me whenever we disagree. He calls me unprintable names or put across demeaning statements. He also becomes defensive even when he's wrong and never apologizes for anything. After our fights, he expects us to carry on as if nothing happened. Is there something wrong with him? Or I am rather expecting too much from him. Please advise me on how I can handle him, as I always feel he takes me for granted and does not care anymore. Let's get talking.
You're rocking with the best.
Drive Time on Love.